Hello there. Welcome to day 3 of the Volunteer Recruiting Challenge, where I'm attempting to recruit 50 volunteers in the next 90 days. My name is Kenny Conley. I'm a next-gen pastor at the Ridge Community Church in Blue Ridge, Georgia. And in my last video, I clarified the need. I got really specific about the numbers I'm trying to recruit, talked about an exercise of how you can clarify your need. I want to clarify something. I got a little tripped up in that last video where I wasn't sure if I was counting an intentional monthly volunteer of a storyteller, of 4 storytellers in preschool, 4 storytellers in elementary. And to clarify, those are intentional volunteers that I'm trying to recruit. They are intentionally once a month because they serve for multiple services. So they are included in the count. So it does bring it up to, I need to recruit 100, or I'm gonna need to have a total of 101 volunteers. So that's part of the goal. So my goal is to get to 101 weekly volunteers, people that would be counted as weekly. So, and that's the tricky part. So to kind of give you an idea, I told you yesterday that I currently have 38.5 weekly volunteers. That's comparing apples to apples and oranges to oranges. I've got 38.5 weekly volunteers. Now I have a total of 46 human beings who serve. Now about 15 of those are every other week people, but when you add them all up, how many volunteers can I expect to see on any given Sunday? Right now, it's 38.5 for me. I need to actually, when I recruit 50 more volunteers, I'll get that to actually 88.5. Does that make sense? Hopefully. I know there's some math in here and some of us didn't study math to figure all this out. But that's what we've been working for. And so some of the ways I'm gonna do that, I'm working to recruit brand new volunteers. And I'm gonna try as best I can to recruit them into weekly roles. Now, some of them won't be, but I'm trying to do that because it helps me the most. And I think it's better for them. I think it's better for the kids. I'm also going to try to recruit some of my every other week volunteers to become weekly volunteers. That helps. Now, they're not going to count as a brand new volunteer, but they will go from a 0.5 value volunteer to a 1 value volunteer. So it gets me up half a volunteer. Does that make sense? I'm also going to recruit for my subs. There might be some once a month subs who might come on my schedule weekly or every other week. And so that will also help me get to my intended goal of 101 or 101.5 volunteers. So that's a little bit background of where we're trying to go. So here's an idea I want to share with you, something that I'm doing today. And when Nick Blevins and I travel around and we talk about volunteer recruiting, we like to ask the question, how much time do you spend in any given week recruiting volunteers? And we have people close their eyes and hold up on their hand how many hours, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 0. How many hours do you spend recruiting volunteers on a weekly basis? You know what the most popular answer is? Somewhere between 0 and 1. That is the most popular answer. That is also the reason why most people don't have enough volunteers. So the first step is just putting in the time to recruit volunteers. So the first thing I'm doing today is actually blocking off my calendar. And I think the way we're gonna do it is I'm gonna do from 8 a.m. to 9:30 every morning, Monday through Thursday. I'm gonna set aside for recruiting volunteers. Now, every now and again, a meeting's gonna get scheduled. I'm gonna have some home or school related thing that I have to do or some other distraction. That's okay. But I have set aside, 6 hours a week to recruit volunteers. I'm gonna need that time to do the things that we're going to be talking about here. I'm going to need that time to do those things. So the first thought, first idea is to set aside the time to recruit volunteers. So that's what I'm doing today. And also I have a meeting with a couple who are every other week volunteers in my preteen ministry who are fantastic. I've been wanting to move them to weekly volunteers. And so I'm meeting with them today to see what happens. And tomorrow I'll give you an update of how that conversation went. All right, what are you doing today to recruit more volunteers?